Hello, I hope you're doing well. This will be from NACA's book, Essentials of Strength Training and Conditioning, 3rd edition. We're going on page 97, Adaptations of Motor Units on page 97. The functional unit of the neuromuscular system is the motor unit. The motor unit consists of the alpha motor neuron and the associated muscle fibers that it activates. Motor neurons may innervate less than 10 muscle fibers for small, intricate muscles, yet innervate greater than 100 fibers for large, powerful trunk and limb muscles. When maximal force is desired from a muscle, all available motor units must be activated. Different types of motor unit firing rates or frequencies affect muscle force. These fire rates are an adaptive mechanism improved by heavy resistance training. Maximal strength and power increases of agonist muscles generally result from an increase in recruitment, rate of firing, synchronization of firing, or a combination of these factors. The recruitment and decruitment of motor units in an orderly manner is governed by the size principle, which is based on the relationship between motor unit twitch force and recruitment threshold. Specifically, motor units are recruited in order according to the recruitment thresholds and firing rates, which results in a continuum of voluntary force in the agonist muscle. Because most muscles contain a range of type 1 and type 2 muscle fibers, force production can range from very low levels to maximum. Before a high threshold motor unit is recruited, all of the motor units below it are recruited sequentially. Thus, when heavy resistance training, all muscle fibers get larger because for the most part, they are all recruited to produce higher levels of force with heavier weights. Motor units high in the recruitment order are used primarily for high force, speed, or power production. Maximal force production requires not only the recruitment of maximal percentage of available motor units, including the high threshold motor units, but also the recruitment of these motor units at very high firing rates. Once a motor unit is recruited, less activation is needed in order for it to be re-recruited. This may have important ramifications for strength and power training, as these high threshold motor units may be more readily activated subsequent to previous recruitments. I want you to remember, with heavy resistance training, all muscle fibers get larger because they are all recruited in consecutive order by their size to produce high levels of force. In advanced lifters, the central nervous system might adapt by allowing these athletes to recruit some motor units not in consecutive order, recruiting larger ones first to help with a greater production of power or speed in a movement. Ooh, this is a good one. A few exceptions to the size principle exist. That is, selective recruitment of fast twitch motor units may occur under certain circumstances that allow an athlete to inhibit lower threshold motor units and in their place activate the higher threshold motor units critical to optimal speed and power performance. Rapid changes of direction and force production in ballistic muscle contractions comparable to movements in plyometric speed, power, and agility training have been shown to lead to preferential recruitment of fast twitch motor units. These variations in recruitment order may benefit high velocity power training in which time of force production is vital to success. For example, it would be very difficult for an athlete to generate enough angular velocity and power to attain maximum height for the vertical jump test if the athlete had to recruit the entire slow twitch motor unit pool prior to activation of the fast twitch unit. Because the time between the counter movement and the subsequent jump takeoff is often less than 0.4 seconds, there simply is not enough time to recruit all of the motor units in order and still be able to perform an explosive jump. Thus, selective recruitment appears to be a beneficial intrinsic neural mechanism favoring explosive exercises. In addition, specific training may enhance selective recruitment, which may improve sport performance. This is page 98. Another critical element in recruitment is the level of tissue activation resulting from chronic resistance training for muscular hypertrophy. For example, a muscle does not require as much neural activation to lift a given load after its size increases. This was elegantly shown in a study by Clouts and colleagues, who reported that fewer quadricep muscle fibers were activated to lift a particular load after 9 weeks of resistance training that resulted in a 5% increase in muscle size. These results demonstrate the importance of progressive overload during resistance training for allowing continual recruitment of an optimal amount of muscle tissue. Other potential motor unit adaptations include a change in the rate and sequence of firing. A positive relationship exists between the amount of force produced and the rate of motor unit firing. The role of increasing fire weight versus recruitment appears to be dependent on muscle size. Smaller muscles rely more on an increased firing rate to enhance force production, whereas larger muscles rely more on recruitment. There is evidence to show that anaerobic training can enhance the firing rates of recruited motor units. In addition, high firing rates at the onset of ballistic muscle contraction are especially critical to increasing the rate of force development. Thus, the ability to increase firing rate appears to be essential to anaerobic training for maximal force and power development. Resistance training may result in a more synchronized pattern, the firing of 2 or more motor units at a fixed interval of activation during the exertion of large forces rather than the customary asynchronous pattern usually common to motor function. Although the specific role played by motor unit synchronization during anaerobic training is unclear, it may be that synchronization is more critical to the timing of force production and less significant with regard to the overall level of force production. All right, so that's page 9798. That is Adaptations of Motor Units, 9798. See you.